Well, Terrence Knighton's Twitter scare of last week is behind us, and he has posted a cryptic tweet since then, but this time in the form of a positive news. This time, potentially hinting at the commitment of a defensive lineman, one who most have believed to be Kade Pietrzak. Immediately following this, Kade Pietrzak was able to receive a few crystal balls for Nebraska, indicating that Nebraska might be the team that will land him. One of the things to note about Kade Pietrzak is his commitment has been very close to the vest, very tight. So it's very hard this entire time to see kind of where he's leaning and stuff like that. So movement on Kade Pietrzak's end is big movement just because we haven't seen it yet. Now, I'm going to get into his film in just a second, but first things first, if you're new here, please consider leaving a like, dropping a comment. It really, really helps me out. I really appreciate all the support, all the likes I've been getting lately. Y'all have been tremendous in supporting and helping out the channel. So thank y'all so much. I really couldn't do this without y'all's support. So thank you. But let's go ahead and get right into Kade Pietrzak, why don't we? Now, when we talk about big commits, we could say in a couple of number of things: big in talent or big in stature. Kade Pietrzak fits both criteria. He's the #1 player in the state of North Dakota, as you can see there, an 89 rated 4-star according to 24/7 Sports, 90 rated according to the 24/7 Sports composite. And you could see some of the schools that were in the running for him here, or in the running for him here: Kansas State, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Wisconsin. Some very key players there, some big schools playing there. Nebraska is battling it out with those schools. You know, some good competition in there that Nebraska would love to beat out. And it would be a big move for them to beat some of those schools out, especially Wisconsin being in conference, Oklahoma being, you know, historically good and as good as they are. So big time commitment if Kade Pietrzak ultimately comes on. Now, one thing to note about Kade Pietrzak is he does play offensive tackle as well. So you'll see a little bit of offensive tackle in his film. I'm not going to pull his tackle film up today, but I will explain where him being an offensive tackle and the traits that he has as an offensive tackle help him in his defensive end and his pass rushing skills. So we'll get into that in just a little bit. I'm going to talk about a couple of his numbers that I saw. I don't know how accurate these numbers are, but according to Huddle, his Huddle profile, you know, he's 6'5", 253. 6'4", listed as 6'4", 250 here on 24/7 Sports. He runs a 4.8 40, squats 500 pounds, and cleans 350. So I'm not sure how accurate those numbers are, but you can just tell kind of how strong he is, and the fact that he's squatting 500 pounds, you know, and it's probably improved since then. And it's probably, you know, under the new staff, once he gets into a college football strength and conditioning program, a guy with his size and build out of high school is going to be an insanely strong, insanely powerful guy. And you can see what I'm going to be talking about when I say powerful, because it's one thing to be big and strong. It's another thing to play with power and to be powerful and to be able to use that. And Kade uses his size very well. Not only his size in terms of his height and his weight, but he also has very long, rangy arms, which is prototypical in an offensive tackle. And he uses those to advantage. The other thing that he uses to his advantage from being an offensive tackle is his punch. And I've talked about punch before, but a punch is just basically when that offensive lineman kicks his arms out into your chest initially. That is the initial punch. What initial punch you get will show kind of where you're at in terms of where your hand position is going to be and how extended your arms are going to be. So when you get your push, you want to make sure that you maintain enough arm extension to where you're not overextended, but you're also not like this. So the other guy's, you know, up in your chest and attacking your leverage and pressing you backwards. So just a couple of things to note there before we get into his films, but I think you'll see some of those things translate into his defensive end position now that I've talked about him. So let's go ahead and switch over. All right, so we'll pick it up on this first play here. Now, this one's going to kind of demonstrate what I was talking to you a little bit earlier with just the powerfulness and being able to use your skills, use your body, use your physical attributes to your advantage, use your strength to your advantage. Now, this is going to purely show his drive and explosion. Now, I'm going to let it run just a little bit, and you'll see the right guard is a little too slow into his base, right? A little too slow into his base. Now, you see him immediately getting pushed back right there. You can immediately see exactly where Kade is on the screen. Now, what Kade is going to do is not only is he going to attack that lineman before he can get into a stance, but he's going to get his hands on the inside, right? So he gets his hands in the inside positioning, right? And he's in the defender's chest. The chest is grabbing on the out, or the offensive lineman is trying to grab on the outside. Now, you see what I was talking about, where the offensive guys play, his arms have collapsed in, not because he wants them there, but because the defensive end has forced them there. Kade forced his hands inward when he attacked because he didn't have a chance. The offensive lineman didn't have a chance to get his arms extended. He extended his first. Again, that's the hands that I'm talking about. Okay, so comes to get driven backwards. The running back tries to double team. Now you see 56 here. He just has no leverage anymore. He's walking sideways. He's coming straight forward into both of these guys. Neither one have a chance because they're both already backpedaling. And he uses that strength and power to get in there, explode into the play, and make the tackle. So just another instance of his leg drive and his explosion. You'll see that throughout his film as we go through things. So let's go over and get into play 2. All right, so play 2 here is one of my favorites on his film. This is bread and butter, what I just told you about before. There's a couple of little factors here to add on to this that shows off kind of his balance and his ability to explode even when he's not just in a 3-point stance down. Now, you'll see what I'm saying in just a second. So I'm going to let this run for just a second. You're going to see 7 right here. 7's going to go in motion across the right. And when he does, Kade's going to do a little bit of a jump. But you'll see that he doesn't even have to post this arm back down. He keeps his balance. So you'll see here, he moves, boom. Okay, jumps and still off, right? Okay, so that right there that shows his balance, right? He's not off balance when he's coming off the line. You don't want to be head over toes coming off the line because then you're not in a position to be able to gain leverage. And I think this is one of the most important things that people may miss on this film review is being able to see that he explodes off the line, but he doesn't explode head over toes off balance leaning forward. He explodes with his base under him. And since he explodes with his base under him, after that little shimmy, right? After that little just jump right there, recovers. Now watch this, plants his feet, watch this explosion. He's going to come across the face here, cut the play off, drive into the running back. I'm going to let that run one more time so you can see what I'm talking about full speed. Just a little skip, drive, gets in the run. That defender has no opportunity there. He comes across his face, and the running back runs right into where Kade ends up. So just a beautiful play there all around. So let's move on to play 3. All right, so you're going to see him a little bit on the inside of the line this time, not on the end. So what you're going to see here is I'm going to let this play a little bit. He's going to take on the center here, right? Okay, so he's got the center right here driving him. Now watch 67 is going to come over and just kind of clamp him, right? They're going to try to clamp him up here, and then 67 is going to take the block over. Now the quarterback is going to scramble right. So since he has to go right, 67's in a good position to be able to, kind of clamp him there. Now watch this quick little throw off that he's going to do. He sees the quarterback. You see his eyes are looking into the backfield. Now watch this. Just rips through, just rips his arm out. That's how strong he is. Rips his arm out. That defender has no ability to get on there. He's keeping that long right arm, keeping him extended where he wants him, and he's leading the dance at this point. And you see this quarterback here. You don't like the pursuit angle necessarily, kind of falls forward there, but look at this makeup on the play, the speed, the effort. Now, that is a pure hustle effort play. Play going to the opposite side, you're coming off of a block, and then you have to chase the play down, sticks with it, and lays out, puts his body on the line to be able to go make that play. So just a big hustle play. This guy plays 100% on every single play, and that shows through. And that is one of the reasons why he is the top player in the state. So, all right, let's go on and move on to the next play here. Okay, so on this next one here, I'm going to try to pause this because I want to show you something that I noticed when I was watching this through the first couple times. Okay, so I'm going to try to pause this right here. Boom. Okay. So I want you to watch these red helmets. Okay. I want you to just see the difference in these red helmets when he crosses into the line versus when everybody else crosses over. So you see how he's getting knocked back right here. So I want to try to let you watch that again. Boom. There's all these hats moving forward. This one hat is moving backwards. That just shows you the force that he's driving into that line with. Now I'm going to let it play. So he's going to drive that guy on his heels. This allows this defender right here to slip through that gap. And now watch Kade, though. Kade sticks with the play, throws that arm off. Again, he's got long, rangy arms, too, so he throws that arm off, just easily throws it off. And then he's going to track down the play, come in, and help finish. So, again, I want to try to pause that one more time here. Boom, knocks him backwards. These hats are moving forward. This guy's moving backwards. Kade drives him backwards. This guy's able to sneak through, get into the backfield, and then Kade still comes over and is able to help make the play. So again, he sets up the other guys on his team to do better too, just with his ability to explode off of the line and create that initial push. It's what it's about in the trenches. You want to be able to create the push. Whoever gets the push has the leverage. You want to lead the dance. So if you are the defender and you understand the offensive position, offensive tackles, offensive guard, which he does, you have a better understanding of how to attack these guys. And he just attacks them full force, 100% effort with explosiveness with his hands, just uses his every single attribute that he has to his advantage. Now, he can develop some pass rush skills. That's one of the things that you won't see on here. You won't see a lot of swim moves, rip throughs. It's a lot of power right now. But the thing is, those can all be taught, right? Those all can be taught. He has natural pass rush abilities just with his physical makeup the way he is and with his power the way he is. So just imagine him with a more versatile skill set of pass rush moves. And it's going to be a very, very fun thing to watch him develop. So, all right, we're going to move on to the last play here, or second to last play. But I'll bring that. All right, so it is the second to last play. So you'll see right here again in the middle of the line. And what he's going to do here, he's going to be lined up over the center, but the guard, basically the center is going to pull around and the guard's going to step through and try to lay this block, okay? Now, he has to come across and slide to his right to be able to lay that block, okay? So what Kade's going to do is he understands this lineman is coming across, blocking to his right. So he is going to rip and spin out of that, right? So if he's sliding to his right, you want to, let's say sliding to his right, right? The way that you want to get off of that is you want to be able to get to his left as quick as possible. So what he does is to make sure that he can't get a hold of him and break him away and seal off that one side from him, he's going to immediately just make this spin move. Now, it's one thing to make the spin move. It's another thing to be able to maintain your balance, keep your base underneath you, swing your head around, and be able to find the football, because you don't always want to just spin in place like this. But in this instance, he makes it work, right? So he comes around. Now watch, he falls right back into his base. You can see right here. Now he's looking. Now finds the ball because it's a fake. Quarterback's faking. Running back's got the ball headed left. He identifies it and still gets over the play, makes the play. So off of this spin move, so right here, sliding right. So he wants to get across to his left. Boom, spins out of that, breaks the grip free, identifies where the ball is, and then goes and gets it, right? He keeps his eyes in the backfield, keeps his eyes on the ball. He's not fooled by the fakes. Even when he spins around, immediately identifies where that ball is, the first one to get to it. So just a great play there, great heads-up play, and shows his football IQ as well. All right, and this is the last play I put on here. This play is really to show that you cannot really body Kade. And what I mean by body is you have to be able to find a way off of his punch to be able to get your hands onto him and get your hands in a position to be able to block him. Your hands are going to matter because he's so strong at the point of attack. He's so strong with his punch, so strong at his base. It's going to be hard to be able to, be able to block him by just kind of like keeping him in front of you and keeping a stable base in front of you, because he's going to go right through you or go right around you. So I'm going to show an example of that here where you have a couple guys that just try to body check him, so he's coming across here. Body check, bounces off. Body check, bounces off, makes the play. Again, that easy. He just runs right into these guys and bounces right off. So here you go. You had a guy pulling across from right to left. Isn't able to get his hands on. You see Kade's punch right there. You see his head knocking backwards? That's what I'm talking about, punch. You see how his head is back over his heels? And look where Kade is. Kade's center of gravity right over his hips, right where he needs to be. So that's the punch I'm talking about. And if you let that punch get you, you're not going to be able to get your hands on him because he's just knocking you backwards, right? So there he's just trying to grab, can't. Now you have another guy kind of trying to make a play, just bounces right off him, just gives him a shoulder and knocks him right into the play. So again, he's one of those guys that you're going to have to really plan for in blocking, because not every method is going to work. Not every double team is going to work. And when he advances his pass rush skills, it's going to be amazing to see what he can do, considering what Terrence Knighton's done with this defensive line and the progress that it's made as is. We get a chance to see some of these guys that Terrence Knighton can develop from the ground up, and it's going to be fun to see. So Kade is one of the guys I'm most excited about in terms of this recruiting class, and watching his film just jumps off the screen at you when you watch some of these plays that he makes. And even the first few on the film, you're just immediately taken aback by his power, his strength, his base, his leverage, and his understanding of the game. So, all right, well, that'll do it for me here. Again, if you like what we're doing here, please consider leaving a like, dropping a comment, and let me know what you think. If you want to subscribe, hit that bell notification to make sure you're up to date on all of the latest notifications on the channel. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.